Center. I'm Helen Helen of Joy, and I have a story to share with you today. And it's not the story I intended to share with you today. I had another one in mind, and I was skate skiing yesterday on my favorite trail, and I started thinking about something else, and I thought, oh, this story bubbled up. And when a story bubbles up, I feel like it's time to be told. It's good medicine for just this particular moment. So I honored that, and I'm going to tell the story that bubbled up as I skate skied yesterday on my favorite trail. So here it is. Once upon a time, yesterday, on my favorite trail, I was skate skiing along, and my mind tends to wander as I wander through the woods. And it wandered back to the week before 2021, the week after Christmas. And two things came to mind yesterday that had bubbled up then for me, became kind of obsessive. And one was that I got the travel bug. For the first time since the pandemic, 10 months ago, I got the travel bug, not to go on road trips. We've done that some and know how to do that safely, but to get in an airplane again. And I'm not doing that right off, but I just started getting really excited about trips. And I think that happened because after Christmas, for a good 2 decades, my husband and I have traveled after Christmas. The first decade were our selfish years after the kids grew up, and we went on fabulous trips all over the place. Just maybe 4 or 5 days even. And for the last 8 or 9 years, we've gone to see our kids, and we might go skiing. We went to Kauai one year. So I got really excited. And so that was one thing that bubbled up during that week. And then the other thing that bubbled up was one of the trips that we took. And it's one that I don't think about very often. We went to Barcelona a couple times, we went to Paris a couple times, we went to Morocco, went to Russia right before Christmas to see our son who was in college at the time in Russia. But it was Berlin. I started thinking about Berlin. I never think about Berlin. And I got really excited about this trip we took about a decade ago to Berlin, and I couldn't get it out of my mind. And so then I started sharing with my husband about it, and we grabbed a movie that we actually own and watched it twice during that week called The Russian Spy, Steven Spielberg movie from, I think, 2015 with Tom Hanks and an English actor. And a lot of it takes place in the 60s when the Berlin Wall was being built. And so it's bleak in a way. It's a compelling story, and it has some things in it that are really heartwarming, and we watched it twice. And so as I skied yesterday, this is what I was thinking. I was thinking, why did I get so obsessed with Berlin during that time before the new year? What was that about? And is there a story in that? And that's when the story bubbled up. You see, when we went to Berlin, there was none of that bleakness of Berlin, West Berlin, East Berlin, from that movie that we watched before the new year. When we went to Berlin 10 years ago, it was this powerfully creative, thrumming, alive capital city. It was an amazing place to be. There was nothing about it that seemed divisive, east and west and that wall. We stayed in the Jewish old quarters of Berlin, and they had been bombed, some of it, but some of it was still there. And oh my gosh, it was the place where the Jews were gathered up and taken away, and many died or had to flee their homes. And yet it had been rebuilt, and there was a feeling of embracing, not denying the past, but really moving forward. And then we walked everywhere. We walked everywhere in Berlin. We walked to the capital government district, modern, eco-friendly buildings like I'd never seen before. We walked to old places. I'm not sure if they were in the east or the west, where there were outdoor markets in the winter and babies being pushed in carriage. We walked 9 miles out from where we were staying to East Berlin to find this veggie burger place that we really wanted to eat at, that we'd read about in Lonely Planet. And on the way, there was beautiful graffiti, art, alive, art on buildings, art in buildings throughout East Berlin. We went to Checkpoint Charlie, this place where people had to cross from the wall from the east to the west. And this little tiny bit of the wall was still there for us to look at. People were walking freely. It was solemn to see it, and it was also heartening that there was just no border there with that. So Berlin really truly was an after Christmas magical place to be 10 years ago. And in the movie, I was thinking about that yesterday. What was it that compelled me with that movie? Because it wasn't just bleak. It was a bleak time, a divisive time. And there was the main character, Tom Hanks, who had integrity and who opened his heart. And there was the Russian spy who had integrity and opened his heart. And there was this friendship that came from these two people from different cultures who were definitely on different sides of a wall at that point, that became not just friends, but loved each other. And I thought, okay, why did that story come to me yesterday? Why did that come to me in the first week of this new year? And I thought of our country, and I thought of our capital, and I thought of walls, and I thought of divisiveness, and I thought of the walls inside of myself. And I thought, oh my gosh, that Berlin Wall I remember from 10 years ago, such impact, that wall that was built with such precision and such fear, and had all those years of standing and so many deaths of people trying to cross over to see family members on the other side, trying to cross over from one side to the other. It tumbled down in less than 24 hours. It tumbled down so fast. So what about the walls? What about the walls inside of me as I go into 2021? What walls inside of me can tumble down so I can be even bigger and more who I really am, and more open and more loving? Maybe like Tom Hanks in the movies, walls tumble down, and the Russian spies, walls tumble down. And what walls can tumble down? Not in the siege of our capital, not violence and harming our democracy and our sacred places, but walls within, great divisiveness in the country right now. What walls, if we tumble down the walls inside of ourselves, and maybe it can tumble down in 24 hours, like the Berlin Wall did, inside of us. And maybe we can open our hearts, and maybe we can realize, just as we did 10 years ago in Berlin, and just as I did 2 weeks ago in the last days of 2020, that Berlin was a magical place. I felt magical as I thought of Berlin now. I thought, gosh, it was free, it was fun, it was artsy, it was embracing of diversity, it was alive and vibrant. How can we break down those walls and become more free, more diverse, more vibrant inside of ourselves and with each other? So I thought of walls yesterday, and I thought of tumbling down walls. And I invite that for you as well. I invite us all to feel more magnificent, more free as we go into this new year. And that's my story for today. And so until next time's story, may you be well. May you ask yourself what brings you most alive. And may you, like me, allow those inner walls that keep us from being as magnificent and big and loving as we really are, may we allow them to tumble down. And I will see you again next time.